Around 12,000 years ago, when the last ice age had not yet fully ended, when vast regions of the planet were cold, hostile and untamed, when humanity lived scattered in small nomadic groups struggling to survive day after day, someone decided to build something that made no sense at all. Not a hut to shelter from the cold, not a storage place for food, not a village to live in. A colossal monument. At the top of an isolated hill, gigantic stone blocks were cut from the earth, shaped with astonishing precision and raised into perfect circles. Each one weighed dozens of tons. Some stood over 5 meters tall, others were even larger, still hidden beneath the soil. Today, even after millennia underground, those pillars remain, silent, imposing, impossible. This place is called Göbekli Tepe, and it should not exist. For centuries, we believed civilization emerged gradually. First humans mastered fire, then they learned to farm. With stable food came villages, then cities, then writing, governments, organized religion, monuments. It was a comfortable story, linear, predictable. But Göbekli Tepe shatters that narrative, because there, everything suggests the temple came first. Before agriculture, before cities, before what we call civilization itself. How could groups of hunter-gatherers, people still dependent on daily hunting and foraging, mobilize hundreds, perhaps thousands, to quarry, transport, and raise massive stones? Who planned it? Who organized the labor? What kind of belief could persuade people to spend precious energy building something that produces no food, offers no shelter, and guarantees no immediate survival? These questions only began echoing in the modern world in 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt climbed what seemed like an ordinary hill in southeastern Turkey. Local farmers had found strange stones decades earlier. Some were carved, others clearly shaped by human hands. But no one imagined they concealed the oldest monument ever discovered. Schmidt immediately realized these were not Roman, Byzantine, or medieval ruins. These stones were far older, much older. When excavations began, the soil revealed giant T-shaped pillars, then entire stone circles, then layered structures buried atop one another, as if successive generations had built new temples over the old ones. It was like opening pages of a book written thousands of years before recorded history. Then came the carbon dating. The result seemed impossible. Around 9,600 years before Christ, more than 11,000 years ago. To put that in perspective, when Göbekli Tepe was already ancient, the pyramids of Egypt were still 7,000 years in the future. Stonehenge would not be built for another 6,000 years. Rome did not even exist as an idea. Göbekli Tepe is not just old, it is the oldest known religious monument on Earth, and perhaps the most unsettling, because there are no clear signs of daily life there. No houses, no ovens, no grain storage, no domestic waste typical of permanent settlements, only the temple. This suggests something extraordinary. People did not live there. They traveled there, perhaps dozens of kilometers, perhaps hundreds. The hilltop may have been a gathering point, a sacred place where scattered tribes met periodically for rituals, celebrations, or ceremonies we can no longer understand. And when we examine the carvings scattered across the pillars, the mystery deepens even further. Animals dominate the imagery. Slithering snakes, aggressive boars, lions, scorpions, foxes, and above all, vultures. Almost all are predators or creatures linked to danger. There are almost no peaceful scenes, almost no plants, almost no detailed human figures. It is as if the world depicted there was ruled by hostile, primordial, untamable forces. Some pillars, however, appear to be stylized giants shaped like human beings. Carved arms descend along the sides, hands resting on the abdomen, like petrified guardians silently watching the sacred space. But there are no faces, no expression, no identity, only abstract human forms. In many cultures, removing the face removes individuality, transforming a person into a symbol, an archetype, an entity. Perhaps they were not portraits of individuals. Perhaps they represented something greater: gods, spirits, ancestors, forces of nature, or something not meant to be depicted with human features at all. Another striking detail is the position of the hands over the abdomen. Some scholars suggest it symbolizes life, death, or rebirth. Others see a posture of authority or protection, but there are darker interpretations. In several ancient cultures, vultures and other scavenger birds were associated with death and spiritual transition. In certain rituals, bodies were exposed to be consumed by these birds, allowing the soul to be released. If something similar happened there, Göbekli Tepe may have been a site of funerary rites, not a conventional cemetery, but a sacred space dedicated to transformation between life and death. That would explain the absence of everyday scenes. The site does not celebrate ordinary life. It celebrates something deeper, more primal, more terrifying. But perhaps the greatest mystery is not in the carvings, nor in the architecture. It lies in the temple's fate. Because after centuries, perhaps millennia of use, someone made an extraordinary decision to bury everything. There was no invasion, no widespread fire, no chaotic destruction. The pillars were carefully covered with tons of soil and stone until they vanished completely from the landscape. It was deliberate, methodical, as if someone were sealing the site. Perhaps beliefs changed. Perhaps the temple lost its meaning. Perhaps it became dangerous. Or perhaps they wanted to preserve it for the future. The burial worked. For more than 10,000 years, Göbekli Tepe remained intact beneath the earth, protected from erosion, weather, and human interference. A time capsule left by people who left no written records. After that, absolute silence. Civilizations rose and fell. Empires ruled continents. Religions spread. Science advanced. The world changed countless times. And no one knew the temple existed. No ancient text mentions it. No known tradition speaks of it. It was as if it had been erased from human memory until the 20th century. Today we know only a small portion of the site has been excavated. Most of it is still buried. What else lies hidden there? More temples, more carvings, perhaps evidence of a culture far more complex than we imagine. Göbekli Tepe does not prove a lost advanced civilization once existed, but it proves something equally unsettling. We have profoundly underestimated our ancestors. They were capable of large-scale cooperation, sophisticated planning, complex symbolism, monumental engineering, even without metal wheels or writing. Perhaps civilization did not begin when we learned to farm. Perhaps it began when we learned to believe together, when stories, rituals, and symbols became more powerful than individual survival. Because a temple requires something no tool can provide: meaning. Göbekli Tepe is a monument to the unknown, to fear, to faith, to human imagination, and a silent reminder that human history is full of gaps. How many other structures remain buried beneath deserts, forests, or oceans? How many discoveries could still rewrite everything we think we know about our past? Perhaps, at this very moment, Traces of forgotten civilizations lie beneath our feet, waiting for someone to dig in the right place. Göbekli Tepe is not just an ancient temple. It is a message sent across millennia by people who lived before history itself. A question that crossed ice ages, empires, and civilizations to reach us. Who were we before we became who we are? And perhaps the most disturbing question of all, if we were capable of something like this in the past, what else have we forgotten? Because the ancient world may be far stranger, far more complex, and far more mysterious than any book has ever told us. And if this impossible temple survived, buried for 10,000 years, how many other secrets still lie hidden, waiting to be revealed? If you want to uncover humanity's forgotten secrets, mysteries buried by time, and stories that challenge everything we think we know, subscribe to The Hidden, because some truths were never meant to stay buried.